everybody, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I am going to talk about my new Nikon Z lens, the 24-120 f4. So I'm going to do some photography here in this wheat field, and then I'm going to talk about why I decided to buy this lens. This is actually my first time coming out to do some sunrise condition photography. And yeah, there's two things about this location. So I came here yesterday to do a bit of scouting. It's not perfect because it doesn't fit directly for sunrise or sunset. But I was hoping just to get some nice kind of, light on the clouds. I seem to be standing in a bit of a kind of microclimate here. I'm literally got a ring of clouds around me, and the sun is due to rise in that direction there. I'm not massively optimistic, to be perfectly honest, but hey, as I said, it gives me a chance to try out my new lens, if nothing else. So as I mentioned in my previous video, I part exchanged my 24-200 for the 24-120 f4. Now, one of the reasons I did that is because the 24-120 f4 is a sharper lens. It's a better quality lens. It's one of Nikon's S class lenses, which now means that I have a 50mm 1.8S and this 24-120 f4S as well. So it is sharper, and one of the biggest reasons why I wanted a sharper lens is because this season, I guess autumn, winter, spring as well, I want to do more woodland photography. And for woodland photography, as you may have seen in the previous video, last time I used my 50mm because I wanted sharper images. Now I don't need to. I can take the 24-120 and get sharper images in the woodland. Sorry to interrupt. I seem to be making a bit of a habit of this at the moment, but I forgot to mention when I was out on location, as I said, I traded in my 24-200mm lens, and I always use MPB for trading in camera gear. I never buy new, to be perfectly honest. I would highly recommend these guys. Now, this video is not sponsored by them, so this is just a good old-fashioned piece of advice. So whilst this is not a gear channel, as you know, it'll be wrong not to talk a little bit more about this. So yeah, the focus ring here got some nice kind of resistance to it, so it's not too loose, which is great. And then you've got the manual rings here as well. And if I swap round, you can see that there's also a function button here as well, which, to be honest, I generally don't use. And it's 77mm lens here on the front, so I had to actually buy a different polarizing filter. Although the other filter that I've got, I'm actually going to repurpose for my 50mm lens. I've actually bought a step up, adapter, or is it step down? I don't know. The filter is bigger than the lens, which is all you need to know. Now, I could have gone the other way around, by the way. But the problem is, if you have a smaller filter on a bigger lens, which would have been the case here, then obviously you get a tunnel effect. So of course, what I have done is I've sacrificed focal length. So as I said, this goes up to 120, not 200. But that's something that I'm willing to sacrifice, to be honest. If I look at my photos, I generally take anything between 50 and about 150. Now, sometimes in the past, I've really used that 200mm, and I mentioned this in the last video, as kind of a get out of jail free card. But when I look back at my 200mm shots, yeah, they're not my greatest, to be perfectly honest. So, as I said, something I was willing to sacrifice mainly for the extra sharpness that I'm going to get when I do woodland photography. And also, just why not challenge myself to look for compositions that now fit the maximum 120 lens that I have. So, again, I mentioned last time, for me, photography is all about the challenge and not standing still and being in my comfort zone by, just relying on the same methods, the same focal lengths every time, the same editing style. For me, it's all about experimentation. So this is a great example of being able to make the most of the fact that I can go to f4 regardless of the focal length. So I'm at about 90mm here. And what I'm doing is I'm taking a shot of the reeds that are just poking above the skyline. And I've gone down to f4, shutter speed of 1/1250, ISO 100. And because I'm down at f4, I'm getting a nice kind of blurred out, dreamy look to the sky behind it. And this is something I wouldn't have been able to achieve with my 24-200. There's no way I could have got down to f4 on that. So I'm certainly going to be taking advantage of this feature when I'm going out doing my landscape photography, because if you've seen this channel before, you know that I also like to take the details of the landscape and not just kind of the wider vistas. Right, time to go back home and see what I've got from this morning. As always, thank you for watching and see you next time.